What's good guys, Mango here with the second video of the day, and as promised, stage 16, 17 from the Infernal trial. Now, in this video I had to do the recording because I tried to make it without using Twinfin, without using Solka, and not using Lord Phineas. So, let's give it a go. This is the team I've used, and this time, to shake things up a bit, I will showcase the year before. Pyros, pretty simple. Solve Arcana, good pieces, he has some HP, doesn't matter, triple roll, don't even need good gear at all. Then, the champs that actually require good gear. Philitu, Infernal Roar, this one has better pieces, not the best, but good pieces, and Shatter Hilt. And then we have Hex, Solve Arcana, he actually has good pieces this time, so just like this, not the best on my account, but he has good pieces. And then we have Malric, Solve Arcana as well. We have easier this way. Orim, Solve Arcana, DPS build. And finally we have Shena with DPS build. However, Shena doesn't really matter too much. You don't really need to put the best gear on her. Best gear should always go to Hex and Silitu. So let's start. Then also Imiret, she's not really doing much. As I showed you guys before, is random pieces of gear on him or her, however you wanna call it. So let me show you guys the run right here. Okay, so here we have the recording, way easier for me because I had to try and check what works best, because not using Twinfin and not using Soul Cadence, it's a little bit complicated, but only because you are missing out on their bonus, and Pyros bonus is not as good as those guys, of course, for trials. But it was still enough. I wonder if I will have to use Twinfin or Pyros for the last one, because I've heard it's pretty hard. But first thing first, Silitu on top. Silitu will just take care on the top of the top lane of this map by herself. Then I put Malric in the middle. Malric has decent DPS, but he also has slows and CCs. That's why we are going to support Malric DPS with Imiret right behind him, sorry. You guys will see right now. Malric ultimate, and now I'm placing Imiret, just because that way we can slow down the fight enough time so that we can end up killing the enemies. At the end of the fight, we will struggle a bit, but that's where Shena comes into play. If you don't have Shena, I think you can actually place Phineas or any other DPS at the end, because we just need a little bit of support, because Imiret is running some random ass gear and his damage is just not enough. So here I place Hex at the bottom, and really important, ult with Hex pretty fast, because we actually need to cycle through his ultimate. We need him to have the ultimate back when the next round of Grotesque and the Kirby looking guys come down the bottom lane. As you can see, the middle taken care, just because even though Imiret is not actually doing that much damage, he's able to slow the enemies on his range, while Malric does some decent DPS. If you guys see, he's actually hitting 150, sometimes 400k. I don't even know how Malric kit works, honestly. I've never bothered reading all his kit. And here I actually use Pyros to delete that big enemy. That way, we don't have too many units being blocked at the bottom, because we really need Hex to focus on these pink guys. Just because they will revive 3 times, okay? But that's not the issue. The issue is that as they keep reviving, they are being blocked. But now all this wave comes down the bottom, so we had to clear this tank first to avoid one of these enemies passing by, because we really need to keep Shena on hold. We're not gonna place her yet. Shena will be key at the end of the fight, as I told you guys. While we were doing this on the top lane, we are just using Silitu ultimate to clear this wave. Top lane is pretty much the easiest part of this fight, okay? Because the middle, being honest, is a little bit sketchy. I think there are many alternatives for Malric or even Imiret, so I wouldn't worry too much. And now here, at the bottom, Orim ultimate to help us DPS, that's why I'm actually building him full damage. And now in the middle, Malric and Immediate to stun these guys right there. Now we gotta be careful at the top because Silly2 still doesn't have ultimate, so be careful, check Aileen ultimate, check Percy ultimate. Here we're gonna pop Aileen, and on the top Silly2 and then Percy so that she doesn't die. She shouldn't die, to be fair, the DPS is not enough, these tanks don't do much damage on her, but it's always better to be safe than sorry. Okay, we're clearing the bottom lane, and once we do, we can actually remove Hex, because we need one spot to place Xena and wipe the middle lane. You guys will see right now. There we go, that's where Xena comes into play. You guys can see that Ymir is actually blocking them, but his DPS is not enough. So we play Xena, we clear that part, and that's it, guys. Remember, this is stage 17 if I remember correctly, and 16 is actually this one, but slightly easier. And as far as replacements, let me show you guys my account right here. Pyros, of course, if you have him, use Twinfin, use Solka, both are better. Hex, the best replacement would be Nocturne, Anai, or Lyra. Now, Hex is by far the best, so keep that in mind. And then, as far as Immediate goes, we don't really need Immediate. We can use Lord Phineas and his DPS will be way higher. At the same time, on top lane we can use Setram, Solka, pretty much any unit just because that's the easiest lane. However, Silly2 has the advantage that if our gear is not actually good enough, he can block some units. On the other hand, if we put a marksman like Setram, even though he actually does pretty much the same DPS when he's ulting, he won't be able to block, so you might be leaking at that top lane. That being said, guys, that has been the video for 16 and 17, and then the ones remaining are 18 or 15 because they actually share the same map, but I will of course only showcase the last one because that's the hardest one. So I'll see you guys in a few hours. Thanks for being here once again, hit the like button, comment, and bye.